We should note that during our conversation, Kennedy made false claims about the COVID-19 vaccines. Data shows that the COVID-19 vaccines prevented millions of hospitalizations and deaths from the disease.
This is what happens when you censor somebody for 18 years. I got a lot to talk about. They shouldn't have shut me up that long, because now I'm going to really let loose on them for the next 18 months. They're going to hear a lot from me.
Hi, I'm Nat, and today I want to talk about RFK Jr., or Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. Yes, from those Kennedys. So on April 19th, he announced that he's running for president as a Democrat. And I mean, yes, he carries the name and the long-standing Democratic tradition, thanks to his father and his uncle, who were both taken out because they were talking a little bit too much, and RFK Jr. doesn't shy away from talking about that. However, now that he announced that he's running, he's thrown a wrench in all of Biden's and his whole campaign's plans to run him again for president. This might be why the DNC, or Democratic National Committee, has now come out and said that there will be no debates. This came especially close to when RFK announced that he wanted to run. So RFK Jr. has the long-standing tradition of being completely anti-war. He not only wants to bring the troops home, but he wants to completely close all military bases all across the world. This goes far beyond what Trump wants to do, and this helps me highlight the fact that RFK Jr.'s positions on some things are very similar to those of Trump. However, one major differing point between Trump and RFK Jr. are their stance on vaccines, especially currently. RFK Jr. has always been against Big Pharma and has stood up to them multiple times. He even has a whole organization that explains to people why having 72 different vaccines on the vaccination schedule might not be such a good idea when just about 50 years ago it was only 3. And this might be a little bit of a sticky situation for Trump, because he still says and is very proud about Operation Warp Speed, which is what brought us the COVID vaccines. However, now most of his base is completely against it and might side with RFK Jr. on this one. RFK Jr. is the only presidential candidate really speaking on these issues. I mean, we have Vivek Ramaswamy and some other smaller candidates that might not get very far, but of the big names, RFK Jr. is the only one that might use this as a presidential talking point. And while the progressive left, the media, and the establishment Democrats keep trying to smear him and call him out by saying he's an anti-vaxxer and not a true Democrat, even though he carries the name Kennedy, well, he has a proven track record. He's been an environmental lawyer for most of his career. And he's not only helped the smaller people out and not curried favor for the elites, but he calls them out on their fake environmental efforts. And he's been doing this for years. This is why they find him so dangerous, because he may be able to expose things that people don't really want exposed. And these views, the anti-war views, the environmentalism views, and calling out the establishment and the elites are usually Democratic positions that classically liberal people on the Democratic Party have been missing for about 20 years now. RFK Jr. has spasmodic dysphonia, which means his throat muscles sometimes close without him wanting them to, which is why he sounds the way he does. But mentally and physically, he is completely fine, and not so much can be said about Biden.
Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
If they do, for some reason, let him run as a Democrat, especially with a strong vice president like maybe a Tulsi Gabbard, who is also a disaffected Democrat, he will be able to siphon a lot of the disaffected liberals away from the Republicans and into the Democratic base again, and even run away with the presidency from Trump. One of the best outcomes and a dream scenario would be if he ends up not getting the nomination and then maybe running as vice president for Trump. I mean, we have seen him cross the aisle a lot more times than any other candidate because he believes in free discourse and free speech and the fact that you should probably involve everyone and not vilify the other side, because that gets you nowhere. It gets you to where they are right now. So if he does end up running with Trump, well, they might be able to patriotize, nationalize, and turn their base into a true populist movement that could run away with the presidency and maybe make some positive changes overall. So if he's allowed to run or not, or if he gets the nomination or not, or if he ends up running as an independent or with Trump or with anyone else, what he's doing and the fact that he's able to now go and have interviews in mainstream media, and even though he gets censored sometimes, call out, as he has been doing for the past 35 years, all of the elites, all of the establishment, and bringing some of these talking points that aren't allowed to be discussed to the forefront is positive overall, both for Republicans, MAGA, Democrats, progressives, classical liberals, libertarians, populists, everyone. So if you're an American, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And if you're not an American, also let me know. Join the conversation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.